Hi, I'm Sam.
And I'm Max.
And this is Movie Nostalgia, where we give you an honest review of the movies we've meddled with so mischievously over at Maybe Movies. And this time, we're talking about Slither. Yes, the 2006 James Gunn directed film featuring the talents of Nathan Fillion, Elizabeth Banks, Michael Rooker, Greg Henry, and forgive me if I get this name pronunciation wrong, Tanya Saulnier.
As well as featuring in either minor or cameo roles the voice of Rob Zombie.
Yeah! Oh yes, yes indeed.
And also the maestro of Troma, Lloyd Kaufman, who is, the day after Tentacle Arm Grant, when Jack goes to the police station.
Yeah.
And there's the old drunk who's being interviewed.
Yeah.
That's Lloyd Kaufman.
Of course it is, yes.
Because on the extras on there, he does like a little video diary of his trip down to the set and meeting people and all this kind of thing.
Oh, lovely.
He was supposed to have a line in the film that was cut.
Oh, right.
But
that's why he's named in the cast.
Yeah.
Right.
But the reason he's in there, which again, something I didn't know, was because James Gunn's screenplay debut was he wrote the script for Romeo and Juliet.
Oh, right. I've never seen it, but I knew he was an old Troma hand.
Yeah. So as a thanks to Kaufman, he had him come down.
Well, yeah, and why not? Indeed?
Absolutely. It's a shame that they cut his line.
It is. Yeah, it would have been nice to see more of him.
So yeah, 2006. I'm struggling to think when I saw this one. I didn't see it. Did I see it? Did I see it at the cinema?
1 hour later.
Don't think I did.
No, it was a rental then.
I think it was a rental around my buddy Rob's one night. Because 2006. Oh yeah, I'd moved back to Norfolk by then. So yeah, it would have been when it came out on DVD, and we just rented it out one night and didn't quite know what to expect, and was pleasantly surprised. I think it was one of those ones that it didn't sink in on first watching. Mm-hmm. It was okay, but it wasn't until like a couple of years afterwards when I watched it again that I really kind of bought into it a bit more.
Right. Okay. Well, my story is quite similar to yours in that it was a DVD rental when it first came out. This was the first year I was in my flat.
Okay.
And this is back in the days when Blockbusters was still just down the road.
Of course, yeah.
So it was a rental from there. Just a random find. I'd heard a little about it, but nothing spoilerish or anything. Just people said it was enjoyable, so I thought I'd give it a look, and I did enjoy it straight away out of the gate. I liked its irreverence. I liked the way that it subverted expectations in funny ways, not snide ways.
Because we're subverting expectations. Oh my god!
Yeah. I mean, it's not like I was like, I have to add this to my collection, but I definitely enjoyed it first time out.
Yeah, which is a difficult thing to do. I don't know if you noticed that. You probably can't because of the distance from where it was on camera. So the Blu-ray that I've got is the German Blu-ray because I couldn't find an English Blu-ray that wasn't NTSC, that wasn't region 1.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously this was a couple of years ago when we did it on the show, but yeah, it was almost impossible to find. But again, the German one wasn't too bad, so if you do want to get a copy of the film, do get,
Yeah, it's definitely worth a watch.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So this was...
No, sorry, I was just randomly...
Okay. Yeah, so this was James Gunn's directorial debut.
Oh, it was his first film, right?
It was his first film as a director. He'd done, so as I said, he did the script for Romeo and Juliet. He worked on the scripts for both Scooby-Doo and Scooby-Doo 2 prior to this. And, of course, the remake of Dawn of the Dead.
I forget about that one every single time.
Yeah. And this one apparently grew out of a love of, I suppose they are still classed as B-movies, if you like, monster movies of predominantly the 70s and 80s. There's references to so many things.
Yes.
Yeah. But the real inspirations for, or the kind of tone that they were looking for with the film, boils down to things like Return of the Living Dead, Basket Case, The Fly, that kind of body horror.
That's disgusting.
There's even a reference to, obviously, in the film as well, one of the people in the film at one point is watching Toxic Avenger.
Yes, yeah, I had noticed that before, but I thought that was a nice little nod as well.
But the thing that's on the front cover, the bath scene with the character Kylie, that's a homage to, again, one of the other main influences or inspirations for the film, which is 1975's Shivers by Cronenberg.
Yes, if you didn't say it, I was going to. Yeah.
So it is a homage to all of these things in a good way. You know, there's little nuggets of stuff all throughout the film, but unlike the substance, which again also kind of sells itself as being in its cinematography and things like that, a homage to various different great directors. There's a bit of Carpenter in there, there's a bit of Kubrick in there, there's a bit of Cronenberg in there as well.
Of course, yeah.
This one just makes all the references visual. It doesn't make those homages in the actual cinematography. Yeah?
Yeah, it's within the structure of the film.
In the structure of the film, yeah. So little things. I mean, even the bar where they go and do the deer cheer thing, which is Hottentoder or something, which is the name of the guy who did Basket Case and
Heidenlotter.
Heidenlotter, that's it. Yeah. Frank Heidenlotter.
Yes.
So the guy who did Basket Case, Brain Damage.
Yeah, got that one at home. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a nod to him. And again, it's taken me a couple of watches to kind of spot all of those things. Which is really nice. It's really nice to go back and have a look at that. I mean, if you've never seen it at all, just to give you a very brief synopsis of the film, this is about the small town of Wheelsey. I'm supposing it's supposed to be... It's not New England, is it?
No, it's South Carolina.
So, is it South Carolina?
Yeah, there's an actual "Welcome to Wheelsey" sign in one of the scenes.
I missed it. I missed the state.
Yeah.
Yeah, which has a visitor from beyond the stars in the shape of a horrible gelatinous worm that sets about the business of remaking mankind in its own image, shall we say.
Yeah, that's a really good way of putting it. Yeah.
It's a fantastic feast of both practical and digital effects in the right way. They use prosthetics initially and then enhance them with CG, as CG is supposed to be used.
It's the way it should be done.
Yeah. I did read a thing, apparently they used so much...
What, slime?
Methylcellulose slime that they depleted the National Reserve, and the manufacture was a month before they could prepare another batch.
I did notice there were a lot of slime effects in there.
Yeah. It's one of those. I mean, I think you just said it perfectly. It pays homage to all of these different films and all of these different great filmmakers, but it's quite subtle about it, and it's still its own thing in its own right.
Yeah, they're not like blah. It's there for you to notice if you're an aficionado and you get the reference, but it's not like in your face.
Yeah, you can enjoy it without having to spot all of the stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
You don't need to do homework.
No, not at all. Which is such a shame that it didn't do well at all. I mean, it's an interesting one, considering this was made 5 years after Evolution. And that was made on a budget of 80 million. This was made on a budget of... Evolution was made on a budget of 80 million. Slither was made on a budget of 15.
Yes, which is actually quite a lot for a horror film.
It is, and I suppose for somebody's debut film as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But when you look at the number of digital effects in there and things like that, you can see where the money went.
Yeah, absolutely. And yet, unfortunately, it only took something like 12.8 globally.
Oh dear, I did not know that.
Yeah, it was a box office flop.
Oh, right.
It's another one that's gained cult status over time, probably because of the home movie or the home rental market.
Well, the home rental market and the fact that James Gunn's star has risen.
Who?
Significantly since then.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think a couple of articles I read, they were kind of citing that the failure of this at the box office, even though it was critically well received, was one of the reasons why Universal for a while sort of took a step away from sort of big sort of sci-fi horror films.
Oh, right. Okay. Yes, I know that Universal went through a dip, but I didn't realise that was the reason why.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think there was a couple of, some of the more sort of well-known reviewers at the time didn't like it, but generally speaking it did well with the critics. It's just people didn't turn out for it, which is such a shame. Because this would have been after Dawn of the Dead, wouldn't it?
Yes. I think that was, what was that, 2002, 2003?
Something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably why it's one of those things. It's kind of like it would have been sort of zombie fatigue a bit. Because you'd have had that. You'd have had 28 days. 28 days later.
That might be what it was.
Yeah.
Because there was a definite fatigue going on then. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Which is a shame. But it does mean if you can find it, it's ripe for a watch.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
If you've never seen it, it's definitely worth a look. It does push the envelope. Xadrum is more than just curious content on YouTube. We're also a small publishing house, with books covering a range of genres from 1940s pulp adventure to children's novels, and even a touch of the macabre for those who like their literature on the dark side. Our titles are available in both paperback and ebook formats. Ebooks are available on Amazon, but physical copies can only be bought exclusively through our website at Xadrum.com. Jeff's got enough cash as it is, so why not help us little guys grow and thrive? Links can be found in our banner and in the description to all of our videos, and we look forward to helping you indulge your itch for escapism. Apparently one of the things that one of the producers wanted to have removed, considering everything that's in the film, you know the bit where at the beginning Michael Rooker is trying to get it on with Starla?
Oh, right, yes.
In the bed?
Yes.
It's the bit where he basically flicks her nipples.
Oh.
One of the producers wanted that removed of everything else that's in the film. But yeah, no, he was apparently one of the first person to be cast was Michael Rooker.
Damn, would you feel that iron grip handshake? So, what's going on here?
And Nathan Fillion was one of the last.
Oh, right.
Yeah, apparently they'd originally... I don't know if he was ever approached about it, but one of the early castings for Bill Pardee was Ewan McGregor.
Hello there.
That would have been a different movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying it would have been a bad movie, but it would have been a different one from the one we got.
Definitely. And it was something that James Gunn said to Nathan Fillion was, we were making a humorous film, but not a comedy.
Yes.
And that's why he knew to set the tone, well, how to play the character.
Yes, absolutely, yeah. Because he does, for the most part, play it straight. He doesn't lean all that heavily into his normal comedic range. Mm-hmm. You know, like he did on Firefly and various other projects. Yeah, absolutely. And it's a shame. I mean, I know he still has, he has a good reputation within Hollywood, but he doesn't really seem to have done that much more. I mean, he kind of turns up in bits and pieces, but it's never like he quite hit his mark, if you like. No, he never really did get the best of chances. I mean, there was Serenity, but beyond those, I can't think of many projects. I know he did a lot of television. I think there's a show called Castle he did. Oh, yes. Like 6 or 7 seasons of. Yeah, that's so true. I know he was working. He just wasn't working in movies. Yeah, that's right. And of course Elizabeth Banks as well, she was Betty Brant in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. Oh, God. References I just don't get. Yeah. Well, of course, I mean, she wasn't Elizabeth Banks then, was she? She was still an up-and-comer, so why would you take note? But yes, of course. As I've said, I find this is an enjoyable film. It's worth a watch. It's worth multiple viewings, especially if you are a bit of a horror fan and you like finding Easter eggs. They're in there for you to find. It's worth your time. Give it a watch. Yeah, definitely. I was thinking about this while we were watching it now, considering all of the things that it's supposed to be paying sort of homage to. And I was wondering if part of the reason why it didn't do so well is because even though it had a small budget, it doesn't feel like a small budget film. Whereas a lot of the things that it's trying to give a nod to or been inspired by had very low budgets, and it shows on the camera. And that's why they've kind of gained the reputation that they have. So because this looks like such a much more slicker movie, I wonder if that worked to its detriment? Creating false expectations. Yeah. You can't view it as a good, bad movie because it's actually a pretty well-made film. Right, yeah. Oh, I see. So so the good quality has done it a disservice? It take it too much into the middle ground. Yeah. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that is something that happens to films from time to time, that they miss the zeitgeist. Then they're, like you say, they're never quite a good bad movie, but they're never quite a great movie. They're just somewhere in the middle that doesn't create as much of a cultural footprint, does it? Exactly. Yeah. Which is a shame. It is a shame. I mean, I don't know about you. I think I'm going to give this one 1.5. I'm going to give it 1.5 because I enjoy it, but there is something about it that's just not memorable. For how much there is in this film and how much it pushes the envelope. As you say, it doesn't leave a mark. I can put that back on the shelf and not think about it for the next 6 months. I'll never, and then pick it up, which is, in some respects, is nice because you then get to watch it a little bit, you can watch it a bit fresher, if you like. Yeah. But still, it's a 1.5 from me. And it's a 1.5 from me. For similar-ish reasons, I enjoy the film, I enjoy rewatching it, but I have felt no real compunction to have it on my shelf at home. So, again, it's somewhere in that middle ground. It's just falls a little bit short. Absolutely. Of greatness. Yeah, of greatness. Yeah, cool. For the next one, though, I think we're going to need a few more people.
In fact, I think we're going to need
everyone! We'll see you next time. As always, guys, TTFN.